Hey everybody, welcome. Today I'm going to, for our eggs module, I'm going to be doing souffle. I'm going to try and do the chocolate souffle with white chocolate chunks in Courier on page 237. So, got some of my ingredients already laid out here. I've got my eggs, my sugar, flour, egg whites, 3/4 cup of milk. And I've got my souffle dishes here, and I've got my butter at room temperature. So what I'm going to do here is butter the inside of the souffle dishes, and then I have 2 tablespoons of sugar that I'm going to use to coat the insides of the dishes. So, let's see if I can make a little room here. And get ready to go here. Alright, so my butter's at room temperature. And we're going to just get my pastry brush in the butter. And we're going to butter the inside of my dishes here. And I was reading and watching a different article that said if you brush from the bottom up, it'll help the souffles rise upward. So we're going to try that. Might be interesting. I might brush 2 of them a different way and see how that does, just to see if just that technique makes a difference or not. So, getting them all nicely brushed up, if you can see. And this is going to help the souffle rise nicely. Make sure I get all those spots in there. While I'm doing this, I've actually got a pan right here, and I can get my burner to go. There it goes. I've got in my pan, I've got 1 cup of semi-sweet dark chocolate chips. I've got 3 ounces of Kahlua. I also have 1 ounce of water in there right now, and I'm going to melt that on a low heat, and that is going to be part of my chocolate souffle. Alright, so we're almost done. I got 1 more of these left to go. I've actually got 1 more after this too. I've got my 2 tablespoons of sugar in one. Now what the sugar is going to do is it's going to help coat these 2. So you're supposed to take 2 tablespoons of sugar, pour it in there, and roll it around, roll it around, roll it around, and pour it into the next to help coat your. Alright, so I'm going to do that again. A little bit excess sugar off. Okay, next one. So you can see I'm just taking it and going and rolling this one. So here is one that's done, and here is one that's not done. And this is supposed to help, again, prevent the souffle from sticking to the sides. last one here. And this one we're going to do into the sink. Alright, I've got my chocolate, my instant coffee, Kahlua, and a tablespoon of water in here. And we're going to let that go on low heat, slowly melting. And I just keep watching it. Oh, it's already melting nicely. Alright, I'm going to let this melt down a little bit and then I will be back with you shortly. Alright, right here I've got a third of a cup of flour, a fourth of a cup of sugar, and a pinch of salt. And I'm going to put it on medium heat and whisk in this 3/4 cup of milk into my flour and sugar mixture. And this is what we're going to be creating is the white sauce, if I'm reading correctly. This is the part of the base of the souffle. Alright, now keep whisking this. I don't want lumps. Some flour sticking to the sides. Alright, I got it on medium heat and it says let this go like this for about 2 minutes. Alright, it's been about 2 minutes, and I'm trying to break up a few lumps still, but so what I'm supposed to do now is add in my chocolate mixture here. First I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract I have pre-measured. Looks nice. We'll mix that in there nicely. Okay. Now we're going to stir in my chocolate mixture here. Man, I wish you guys could smell this. This smells awesome. Alright, put that aside, and we'll stir this in nicely. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna stir this up and get my other ingredients ready, and I'll be back, guys. Alright, I've got, in this bowl, I've got 5 egg yolks and 2 whole eggs. And directions say next to put a couple tablespoons of this hot chocolate and flour here into my eggs to warm them. So we'll do that. There's one. We'll do two. Alright, so stir that up in there. Alright, I've got this all stirred up, and it says now I need to fold this into my mixture here. So I'm just kind of moving it around nice and slow, not really putting a lot of pressure on it. Boy, that just got really thickened up here. So keep mixing this and folding it in nicely. Meanwhile, I have my oven right now preheating to 375. And we're going to, like I said, just fold this in a little longer. Get it all nicely mixed together. And then I will start on my egg whites, which are the key to souffles. And I'll be back, guys. Alright, what I'm going to do next, well, first of all, I've transferred my chocolate mixture into a mixing bowl to make it a little easier to work with. I've got 6 egg whites in this bowl right here, and I'm going to start whisking them. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I got an attachment here, so start whisking them. Alright, so I got some nice bubbles forming in here, and now what I'm going to do is I have some cream of tartar, which is going to help us mix the egg whites. So I'm going to keep mixing this, and I'm going to pour in this cream of tartar. See if I can adjust this so you guys can see what's going on here. Alright, here we go. Hopefully. I don't think that's going to work. Well, I'm getting some nice foaminess going in here. Alright, I'm going to keep this going, and I'll check back in a little bit and show you what it looks like, guys. Alright, my egg whites are pretty foamy, and I've got a 1/4 cup of sugar here. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to keep beating these egg whites and put in this sugar at about 1 tablespoon at a time. And this is gonna, by doing that, we're gonna have a more even meringue, and this is what we're making now with the egg whites, the cream of tartar, and the sugar. It's gonna make a meringue, and it's gonna help lighten our souffle. So I'm gonna keep that going, and I'll show you a little bit here. So. Now, Courier says give it about 15 seconds in between your sugar so you can help your meringue. Alright, so I've got my meringue made, and it's pretty nice and thick. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spoon it into my mixture here of my chocolate and slowly fold it in. So we're going to take about a third of it. Alright, and we're going to just gently fold it in to help lighten this, to help the souffle rise. And you don't want to push down too hard or mix it too fast and destroy all those air bubbles that you just made, because that's what's going to make the souffle rise. So I'm going with just a nice easy under and lift motion. As you can see, starting to mix together quite nicely. Alright, we're going to add a little bit more of this meringue. We're just going to do the same thing, under and fold. Alright, I'm going to be folding in the last of my meringue here nicely into my mix. And then I'm going to be portioning it into my cups. I've got my oven again, 375. Just going to keep folding this last bit of this meringue in here. Alright, we're just about all folded in and mixed nicely, have an even coloration. So there's what we're looking at. Alright, so I'm going to start putting this into my bowls here. I'm going to do them about halfway. Then next I'm going to get my frozen white chocolate and put a little piece of frozen white chocolate into each souffle. Alright, so they're all filled about halfway. Now I've got my frozen white chocolate here. I'm just going to break it up into little pieces and set them in the middle. Alright, so I'm going to fill the rest of my souffle up. Go just about to the top. I don't know if I'm going to have enough to do all 8. Might have to sacrifice this one here. Alright, so that's what we do. We sacrifice one to make the others a little bit more even. So, alright, so we have our souffles here. I've got my oven set at 375. We're going to pop them in here on the low rack. Alright, and we'll give those about 20 minutes and check back on them. Alright guys, my timer just went off and I'm about to pull my souffles out of the oven. I just checked them and they rose a little bit, but not as much as I thought they were going to. But it also could be due to the serving dishes I'm using. The recipe calls for ramekins, but I couldn't find any at the store, and I didn't have time to go to the restaurant supply store and pick them up. So here they are. I've got a couple of them that rose pretty nicely. Let's pull this one out. We want to be careful we don't make them fall. All right. So, got them right here. And we will angle this down a little bit. And what I'm going to use is I have a tea. I use this for my loose leaf tea, and I'm just going to put a little powdered sugar in there, and I'm just going to dust it over the top. Alright, and there is the souffle. So, let's take our spoon, break into it. Oh man, it's nice and soft and creamy on the inside, and here we go. Wow. That's good stuff. Nice and chocolatey, flavorful. You can taste the Kahlua in there and the coffee. Haven't gotten to the white chocolate yet, but I'm working it. So that is chocolate souffle, guys. Hello, everyone. So all in all, my souffle project did turn out pretty well. I mean, I learned a lot from it. Sorry, I'm getting my notes pulled up. Learned a lot from it, and you know, I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was, but it actually turned out pretty easy. So yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about soufflés. Some of the things I wrote down about soufflés are, and I was even looking on the internet to kind of get a couple of different tips and tricks from other people who make soufflés. So one of the things that I found out that probably made my souffle not rise as much would be the fact that I had a little bit of egg yolk, little pieces of egg yolk in my egg white, so there was a little bit in there. And then I found out that the egg yolk will stop the egg whites from rising. So looking at that is probably something I should have started over and redid and didn't do. I was also looking online, and there was a website that says to help your souffle puff up, and I have a quote right here, and it says another idea is to seal the surface in order to prevent the release of bubbles formed inside. Basically, he said to put it under a broiler and, you know, kind of seal the surface up, because I did notice in my souffles, if you look at the picture, we had little holes in the top of them, and I think, you know, that, I guess there were little breaks, so the crust didn't really form. But if I would have taken it and maybe sealed the top a little bit, I think we could have gotten a great product. I mean, overall, again, it was a good product. I was happy with it. It tasted great. I was looking, though, McGee talks about also that the higher the temperature of the oven, the higher the souffle will rise, because the heat expansion will be greater, and more of the moisture in the mixture will be vaporized. However, McGee also does say it also means that you know, the hotter the temperature, the quicker the souffle will fall when it comes out of the oven. But, you know, a souffle, light and airy. It was an interesting texture. It was light and airy, but yet the outside was nice and chocolatey and tender. It was good, and I would love to make it again. I think actually I'm going to try it again. Different recipe, maybe. I think I'm going to omit the Kahlua and see how that turns out. But a little of the chemistry in a souffle is egg whites. What they do with the souffle is by whipping them around and beating them, they end up trapping air bubbles. And when you bake the souffle and you fold that nice meringue into your souffle base, what you're doing then is you're keeping the air bubbles in that. So when I go to bake them and put them in the oven, that air will expand, causing the souffle to rise. And that's where you get the rise in your souffle. So hey, that was souffle. I enjoyed it, and glad to make that for you guys. And hopefully you tried. I was actually surprised. I thought it would be a lot harder, and it really wasn't. So thank you, everybody. Have a good one.